Tuesday, February 17th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. And the winter storm winding down this morning across the region. It was a very fascinating winter storm. If you enjoy tracking the weather, I'll talk about that. We also have some absolutely brutal cold, record-breaking cold headed our way before the week is out, and more potential wintry weather in the offing. A lot to talk about in today's edition of the video. That is a look from our Greensboro tower camera. Looking down in Greensboro, that is the main roadway you kind of see toward the middle of your screen. That is Spring Garden, and there's a lot of roads all across the Carolinas that look just like that. Now, in North Carolina, in many spots, sleet kind of saved the day from having a tremendously crippling ice storm. Now, there are some folks down into South Carolina and parts of northeast Georgia that unfortunately were not so fortunate to have that sleet take over, and it was mainly freezing rain. Now, these are temperatures this morning. I'm cutting this during the 4 a.m. hour. 25 in Charlotte. It's been an amazing temperature gradient to watch down in parts of South Carolina and really focused right around the Wilmington area. Some low 60s in Myrtle Beach and Charleston. Columbia has been bouncing between 33 and 34, 18 in Greensboro, 19 in Raleigh, 30 in Greenville. The cold air really locked in with this system, and the models kind of busted in many instances on the low-level temperatures, and that's why you had more ice than expected there in the upstate of South Carolina down into northeastern Georgia. And I'll show you the more detailed look at the radar in just a minute. Here's the overall overview, the low pressure area that generated this precipitation beginning to head out to the western Atlantic. And there we go. This is that big Arctic cold front heading our way. Now, let's talk about what to expect. Now, this is a generality. I should say, I forgot to change the heading there. I should say the departing winter storm. Wintry precip exiting the region with time today. Road conditions are treacherous. Now, in many spots, there'll be a little bit of improvement maybe this afternoon. Temperatures trying to creep above freezing around the region, but temperatures in many spots will be back down into the teens tonight. So there'll be a lot of refreezing issues. I expect the roads are going to be pretty messy tomorrow morning too. All right, here's the radar. And I started this radar loop at maybe it was 6 o'clock in the evening yesterday. I can't really remember. Let's see. 6 o'clock in the evening yesterday, and I ran it to 4 a.m. this morning. And this was the representation of this storm system on the radar. Now, a lot of where you see just the pure snow painted, even then there was sleet mixed in. And it was interesting. A lot of times when these systems roll through, you have pretty well-defined lines basically running west to east or northeast to southwest between the various precipitation types. That was not the case this time. You had precipitation bouncing around from one type to another, sleet, snow, freezing rain, and back again in many, many spots across the region. Really a fascinating system. A pronounced warm nose aloft, anywhere from really kind of centered around 850 millibars thereabouts, and then very cold air at the surface. Now here's a look at the radar imagery again as I'm cutting this video just before 5 a.m. during the 4 o'clock hour. Another little batch of, let me get the right tool here, pan that northeast. A little batch of some snow there moving through parts of Randolph and Chatham, Alamance counties over toward Orange County. And this is the tail end of the precip with this storm system. Still a lot of wintry precip over eastern North Carolina, but you notice here as I back the radar out that this is going to be ending here over the next several hours as that low pressure gradually departs out to sea. So there goes that low pressure and the cold front heading out to sea. There will attempt to be some sunshine today, but another batch of some mid-level clouds kind of working in from the southwest rather. So I don't think there's going to be just tons of abundant sunshine. So there'll be some improvement in the road conditions, but it's going to be gradual. And then there comes that Arctic front getting closer to us. Now we fast forward to tomorrow. Here we go. That front moves on through. Let me back that up one time and let's take another look at that. As we get into tomorrow, here comes that front, and I think as that swings through, pretty good chance of some snow showers across the region tomorrow. Not going to be a big snow event tomorrow, but there could very well be a dusting of snow in some spots with this little batch of snow showers moving on through the region, and then we are in brutally cold Arctic air as we go through the Wednesday night, Thursday and Friday time period. All right, so let me show you some of the more detailed modeling. And first of all, this is tomorrow on the GFS, and you can see some of those snow showers pivoting on through the region. And then we kind of gear up for the next potential system by Saturday. But let me talk about these temperatures. Now, these are the raw 2-meter low temperatures. These are high temperatures first. High temperatures on Thursday. And again, I know this map might be tough to see, but these images from Weather Bell, this is from the 0Z run of the GFS, and you have highs anywhere from the mid-teens up around I-40 to maybe low 20s around Charlotte. Really cold day. And then, yeah, here we go. Now, this is, actually, these charts got a little bit out of order. These are low temperatures Wednesday morning. All right, so let me skip past that. Now, here we go to Thursday morning. Now these are the 2-meter temperatures for lows Thursday morning, and you have a lot of single digits, sub-zeros in the northern, sub-zero values rather in the northern foothills and around parts of the Triangle region. And then look at this; these are low temperatures Friday morning off the GFS, and the European is very similar too. It's continuing to indicate sub-zero air up around I-40, single digits around Charlotte. I have not gone quite that cold, but I did for my forecast for Greensboro put 0 for a low temperature Friday morning. 0. That's really, really nasty stuff. Record-breaking cold. We're talking record-breaking cold for highs and low temperatures probably for 1 or 2 days later this week. Really nasty stuff. All right. Then let's go to the Saturday. Now this is, again, the 0Z run of the GFS. This is Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon. So you have a situation where another low pressure is taking shape to the west. Arctic air still entrenched across the region. So that is a prolonged period of a wintry mix. Snow to sleet to freezing rain being indicated on the 0Z run of the GFS across the interior Carolinas Saturday. Before the conditions warm enough that Sunday just features some rain. Well, guess what? The Canadian looks strikingly similar to that. Okay, this is as the system is approaching. Now, this is going to be early in the morning, Saturday. Snow across the western half of the Carolinas. Wintry precip engulfs the Carolinas during the morning hours Saturday on the Canadian. And then, again, as the upper levels warm, you kick over to ice and sleet by Saturday afternoon on the Canadian model. So that's what, the Canadian and the GFS really in lockstep agreement with their 0Z runs. This is the other perspective of the Canadian. This was as that system moved in Saturday and continued into Saturday afternoon. And so there's the snow chart. A little bit of the snow still was with the current system because this began at yesterday evening, but most of what you see the snow on this chart is with the system Saturday on the Canadian model. Now the European does not agree. This is what it looks like early Saturday afternoon on the European. And so you basically end up with a scenario on the European where low pressure is taking shape right here and the southerly flow is taking over before the precipitation arrives. And so you end up with just some rain later Saturday night into Sunday morning on the European model. So, and if you're wondering, the UK Met, which did really very well leading up to this current system, it too is very similar to the European. So basically right now you have a model disagreement between the European models, UK Met and the European, and the North American models, the Canadian and the GFS. They're divided into two different camps. Now I will say that the current system that is just departing looked a lot like what the European modeling is indicating about 5 days ago. So it wouldn't shock me if the more wintry type of solutions wound up verifying. Before I wrap up the video, let me show you this. Okay, this is the European for Tuesday evening of next week. And I will also show you this. This is the GFS rather, I'm sorry, for Tuesday evening next week. You have another area of low pressure popping offshore. That's close. You're trying to want to be something more significant. So that's another thing to keep an eye on for early next week. So a lot going on in the weather. If you've been wanting some cold air and some wintry type of precip, this is your time of year for sure. All right, that is it for today's edition of the video. Everybody stay warm, have a great day, be careful, and God bless.